Welcome and thank you for joining us for this episode in the Fearless Minds research series. Go with your gut, how our diet, gut bacteria and serotonin can influence our health. I'm Patrick Major from the Fearless Minds team, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's discussion as we explore how the gut affects our health and well-being. To begin with, I'd like to acknowledge that we're hosting this discussion on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people and that we pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We also acknowledge and convey our deep appreciation to the elders of all the nations upon which Flinders operates. This event is delivered as part of our Fearless Minds series. Over the course of the series, you'll meet some of Flinders University's most engaging early to mid-career researchers as they bring you their latest research from a diverse range of fields. Today, we're very fortunate to be hearing from Dr. Alyce Martin, who joins us here at Flinders in the College of Medicine and Public Health. She is head of the Gut Hormones and Health and Disease team from the Flinders Health and Medical Research Institute. Alyce, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today. So as Patrick said, I'm head of the Gut Hormones and Health and Disease team. We're a very new team here at Flinders, even though I've been here for a while. I recently received a fellowship from the Australian government to start my own lab and my own team. And collectively, we look at how maintaining our gut health via the production of certain hormones within the gut can impact our overall health and well-being.
Excellent. And you've just been awarded a fellowship as well?
Yes. So very, very exciting. From the Australian Research Council. It's called a DECRA. It's one of the most competitive fellowships in the country. So I was very, very lucky. So that's going to allow me to really build my research and my team over the next couple of years at Flinders. So very exciting.
Fantastic. Well, Alyce, let's get straight into it. I was surprised to learn that the gut is the largest collective hormone producing organ in the body. What sort of hormones are we talking about?
That's why I love looking at the gut and studying the gut so much. It's probably my favourite organ in the body. So these really special cells that are in the lining of our gut that sense all of the nutrients that we eat, bacteria, they collectively produce hundreds of different hormones. And I'm not going to list them all because we'll be here for days, but some of the ones you may have heard of are serotonin and GLP-1. So GLP-1 is actually a target for treatment for obesity and diabetes. Serotonin is by far my favourite hormone. It does a lot of different things, but collectively all of these hormones really work together to impact a number of different processes in the body. That can range from how we perceive hunger, so how we know it's time to eat, how we digest our nutrients in our food by controlling our gut. And they also they go into the blood and impact a number of different organs like the liver and the pancreas. So they do a lot of different things, but they all work together to achieve this.
Fantastic. So another aspect to your research is the link between the gut and the brain, or what we call the gut-brain axis. What does this mean?
So the gut-brain axis is a relatively new term in the field of physiology, and it's really exciting new area of research. So when we say the gut-brain axis, what we're really talking about is this awesome central corridor of information. Well, it's like a highway, if you will. So that really allows, and we still don't really know how it works. It's quite an emerging field, but what we think is happening is that we have nerves that sit within the gut, and they communicate and relay information about what's happening within our gut all the way through the spine up to the brain. Some even project directly to the brain. So we have this awesome central pathway by which these two organs that are quite a fair distance away can really talk to each other. And you might experience this on a day-to-day basis. As an example, doing one of these, bit of anxiety, I'm sweating, not gonna lie. But when you feel that stress or you feel anxious about something, you can feel it in your gut, right? You can, oh my gosh, am I gonna be sick? So that's the sort of thing that we're talking about.
And you've mentioned serotonin. Let's talk about the feel-good hormone, as they say. 95% of serotonin is made by our gut, and we know that serotonin is a hormone that does more than regulate mood. What has your research discovered in relation to this so far?
This is why serotonin is probably my favourite hormone of all the gut hormones, because it does so many different things. And there's a lot of emerging research now showing that serotonin can have a big role in maintaining our blood sugar levels. So it influences our ability to store and gain weight, and particularly with obesity and diabetes, that's what we're really interested in. So my research really focuses on the cells that make serotonin and how they work. So we know a lot about what serotonin does throughout the body. It's a lot, but we really don't fully understand about how the cells work that make this serotonin. So we want to know what sort of things in terms of gut nutrients, like the foods that we eat, bacteria that exist within our gut, how does that trigger the release of serotonin that then goes on to do a lot of different things.
And what about the role of serotonin in terms of regulating people's feelings of, happiness and sadness? Is that a big part of your research too?
Not directly. So that's kind of goes back to this gut-brain axis side of things. So we know that serotonin is also made in the brain, but it's in vastly smaller quantities. And that's really the brain. Serotonin in our brain is what's the main driver of our mood and our sleep. But we're still learning more about how serotonin in our gut can impact our brain.
So, Alyce, I'm keen to ask you about gut microbes and how they affect our appetite and our metabolism. Is there any correlation between gut health and the treatment for diabetes, for example?
Absolutely. So we're doing research in this area at the moment. And what we've found is that the bacteria within our gut are really important contributors to the maintenance of blood glucose levels and metabolism overall. And what we've found is that these bacteria produce different chemicals and what we call metabolites. Now, these metabolites actually act as signaling molecules to the cells that make hormones, and particularly serotonin in the gut. So when these metabolites are released, they cause or trigger the release of serotonin, and that impacts downstream processes like blood glucose control. So what we're really wanting to do is see if we can harness the these metabolites within the gut and the particular bacteria as a new treatment for diabetes and obesity.
Wow. And that could have quite huge ramifications.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because, one really key way to influence the bacteria within our gut is through our diet. So it's like what we're thinking is, can we tailor a diet or manipulate the bacteria through like prebiotics, probiotics, whatever, however we can do that to really use this as a new treatment.
Fantastic.
Option.
And so are there any kind of everyday lifestyle changes or things we can do in our everyday lives to improve our gut health?
So there's a lot of interest in gut health, and rightfully so. And some of the things that you think about, you're probably already told to do these things. So have a balanced, healthy diet and really pay attention to how you feel within your gut. And that's particularly in response to different foods that we eat. So eating healthy, noticing if there are any changes in your gut. So like you feel a bit funny after eating a particular thing. Medications can impact it as well. So nothing particularly outside of what you'd already be told to do, just to be healthy overall.
And how about prebiotics and probiotics? I mean, there's a lot of savvy marketing out there at the moment.
Absolutely.
We hear about them. Should we be eating more kombucha and yogurt? Does it make a difference, all these kind of things?
I'm a sucker to the savvy marketing because, I have kombucha every day, mainly for the taste. But this is a really, really important and interesting question. And I wish that I had a straight yes or no answer, because like anything with the gut microbiome and gut bacteria, it's incredibly complicated. And it really comes down to thinking about the bacterial environment in our gut as this cool ecosystem, because it's an important ecosystem like we have out in the lake here at Flinders. So if you think of it that way, when we see all this savvy marketing about having kombucha and having yogurt and prebiotics, probiotics, we're swamped with it all. And it really comes back to what is the ecosystem like within our body at the moment. So if you look at your bacterial profile versus my bacterial profile, it's going to be very different. So if you take a prebiotic or a probiotic, it may work for you, but it may not work for me. And that's just inherently due to what's already existing within us.
So some things are going to be more beneficial to
Absolutely.
some people more than others.
And I think it comes back to what we're moving towards now a bit more is this concept of personalized medicine. So, you know, if you really want to see whether or not a probiotic is going to work for you, you almost need to have a look at what you already have in terms of bacterial profile to see if you insert this particular population through a probiotic, is it going to thrive and survive and do well and I guess keep that population healthy, or is it just not going to work at all?
Fantastic. And Alyce, you just mentioned you've been at Flinders for 15 years.
Yes. I'm a piece of furniture.
You've been around. You've been around for a while. And you completed your undergrad and PhD here, obviously. What is your advice for anyone considering pursuing a research career in this field?
Of course, I'm going to say do it because I love it so much. It is definitely challenging. Research in general has its ups and downs, but for the most part, coming into work every day knowing that you're going to discover something that nobody else in the world has found at that particular point in time, it's an incredible feeling. And knowing that what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is ultimately going to improve the health and well-being and lives of so many people, it's quite humbling, really, when especially physiology and looking at gut health. You know, you have this awesome understanding of how we work as human beings. And so that just blows my mind sometimes. But I think it's like that with any research field. It's the chasing of new knowledge and the unknown, which is really cool.
So what would be your advice to anyone considering doing it? Would be just to go for it?
Well, go for it. I would actually, I would think about it. I would definitely consider it. If you are the sort of person that is really excited about that sort of thing, definitely look into it. I mean, it can't hurt to just look into it. Do placements, particularly if you're doing an undergraduate here at Flinders. There are placement opportunities in research labs. Even if you want to, knock on someone's door and say, hey, can I spend a few days with you seeing what you do? Absolutely. They'll all be happy to welcome you into the team for a day or two, for an honours project, PhD. Yeah, it's no harm in just giving it a go.
Fantastic. Well, what an inspiring and fascinating discussion we've had here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alyce Martin, for your time and for sharing your knowledge with us here today. Remember, you can watch any of our Fearless Minds episodes on the Flinders YouTube channel. We hope you can keep an eye out for the next one. Thanks again, and bye for now.